Welcome everyone to another tournament showdown featuring my Empire, who shall be led by Volkmar the Grim, facing off against the Greenskins, who shall be led by Odium Chosen One and Azag atop his mighty Skullmuncher. Now, as far as the build goes, we're going to be going in with a pretty heavy melee build. So you can see Volkmar the Grim is going to be on his altar, which the altar plus his steam tank gives a lot of big armor, difficult to kill targets for the Greenskins, and also a lot of terror, which again, the late game is very, very powerful against the Greenskins. So we're going to be going in with a bit of a crusade build. Now, I don't really like contesting the mobility with the Greenskins. They have a ton of spider riders and annoying kind of skirmishing units that can, chase you down pretty efficiently and also tar pit your heavy cav. So what I like to do is kind of have a bit of a spearhead build. So basically you get flagellants, you get SIGMAR'S Sons, and you get more flagellants. Basically just a bunch of unbreakable dudes taking the initial beating of the wall because they don't care. They got Sigmar in their veins, they're ready to go. And yeah, that's pretty much it there. We do also have some greatswords in the back. Greatswords, of course, give you a little bit better sustainability as the game goes on. So those guys are the secondary follow-up unit that will be coming in for Sigmar, hopefully doing them proud. So Volkmar the Grim on the Chariot is very punishing against Greenskins. Very good at killing massive amounts of infantry. Not the highest weapon strength, but he has Banishment, he has Soulfire Bombardment, which is insane. If you're able to blob up Greenskin like Savage Orcs or things like that, or nasty Skulkers, or anything except Black Orcs basically, it'll bring them down 40-50%. It's really, really good. Plus Banishment is always good. So we got Volkmar in the front line leading the Crusade. We do also have a Jade Wizard as well with Earthblood and Regrowth, which is pretty good if you're going with a meme tank here. So the meme tank is also a great choice against Greenskins. The powder weaponry isn't bad, but mainly it's its melee prowess. So getting into melee, good AP values, causing terror, being unbreakable, it's really tough for the Greenskins to deal with for sure. We got a couple spearmen on the flanks, some pistoliers here just to have some presence on the battlefield, and yeah, they might eventually get caught by some spider riders or things like that, but it does give you some good mobile pressure to kind of pressure back lines and go for things like that. So that's pretty much it for my build, a very elite build. And oh, how could I forget, what crusade would be complete without the Knights of the Blazing Sun? So these guys coming in, I know they have a whole different pantheon of worship, or people who have told me this about lore. But nonetheless, this game, they're going in for Sigmar. And yeah, these guys are just awesome. Great shock damage. They can beat the Greenskin Cav. And they're really good at just charging infantry with outstanding shock damage. Plus, they also have magic resist. So if you're going to be getting hit with Bunas or Spirit Leeches and things like that, it's going to help you mitigate that damage a little bit. So very, very cool stuff. For my opponent's build, he's got a bunch of Goblin Wolf Riders. A huge wad, just huge erect wad. It's going to be Black Orcs, Savage Orcs across the front line with a pretty heavy Jaka core. So the rest of the and Orc Air Boys, actually not too much. And he does also have some Spider Riders here. Some nasty Skulkers on the far side. More pigs. He's got Orc Boy Biggins plus Azag. So yeah, pretty swarming build for sure. So he's going to have a tough cookie to crack here in the form of Volkmar the Grim. So Volkmar is going to be coming in. Pistolers getting a couple of pot shots at Savage Orcs, but there's certainly a lot of Greenskins here, so it's not going to be easy. So getting those shots, but being forced back by the Mangy Marauders and his other missile units here. They have 100 range against my Knight, or 80, so he should be able to outrange me and kind of keep me at bay here. So we're going to be advancing for Sigmar, pulling back my Knights of the Blazing Sun. That forest engagement, yeah, Knights of the Blazing Sun probably will beat Orc Boy Biggins if they get the charge, but the issue being is that Azag's nearby with Spirit Leech and Buna. So here comes the charge for Sigmar. Flagellants running in, pissed off. Volkmar the Grim coming in as well in his Chariot, and should be able to break their frenzy pretty quickly. Plus Soulfire Bombardment and his different buffs. So check this out. Here it comes. Damage coming in here. Let's see if I'm in the right spot. And oh, that damage is so good. Look at the damage across the board against all these units. And instantly the Savage Orcs buckle before the might of Sigmar. So realizing this flank was a little bit overloaded, I pull back here. No point to give him that easy engagement. Let's get the meme tank. Let's go after the Savage Orcs and Black Orcs here, and then take the engagement when it's a little bit more fitting. So right now he is trying to snipe my caster, which is a really good choice. Sniping my caster here gets rid of the healing, so I won't be able to heal up the steam tank as the game goes on, so I really like that decision here by Chosen One. So here we're going to be going after the Savage Orcs as well. Knights of the Blazing Sun getting a frontal charge, and the Savage Orcs are going to be running for the hills as Sigmar's Sons and the Flagellants are actually doing really well across the board in most of these melee engagements. Sigmar's Sons have taken heavy casualties, but they've done it for Sigmar, and they're certainly making him proud. So Volkmar the Grim going to be going in with Shield of Faith, Grand Hammer, so suddenly these Spearmen and these kind of baseline troops are just going to be exponentially stronger. So that's kind of the thing. If you guys realize your flank's getting overloaded, you should always, in my opinion, form a flank denial, which means you fall back with a weak flank and form a bit of an L-shaped screen. It's very, very efficient for kind of making sure you don't get overwhelmed too easily. So here, unfortunately, I do lose my caster, so he's going to be going with the Azag, a beautiful snipe right there. Spirit Leech, he terrifies. I try and kind of save him with the Pistoliers and some Spearmen, but my caster is gone, which means there's not going to be any more fat heals for the steam tank, which is a bit of a shame, but he did a really good job sniping that character out and certainly made me pay the troll toll. So we keep advancing with Volkmar the Grim, going up here. There's still some pig biggins, some porkers, some pork bikes, as they're called by a couple channels I watch. And you can see Knights of the Blazing Sun here going to be getting slapped with the smoke bomb. So really good stuff. I tried to get into the archer line, but he made me pay the troll toll for sure. I surged forward with Sigmar's Sons. Pistoliers landing some decent Overwatch fire, but here comes a fat banishment of the gods. So Volkmar is going to be unleashing this. It does hit a couple of my own troops, it looks like, and let's see which way it's going to go. It looks like, at the very least, it did force them back from getting a full surround here, but still, my Knights of the Blazing Sun there got punished pretty badly. In the back line, I have another group that's doing pretty good. They've been able to peel off the Spider Riders, just kind of using them as a backline sweeper unit. But Azag is also just on the hunt. Very, very good pressure from my opponent across the board. He's going after the Steam Tank here. He has Azag. He's just chasing me. He's Spirit Leeching me. And the Steam Tank, of course, has no way of healing. Granted, it is unbreakable. So if he doesn't finish it and it's still able to generate value over the course of the game, it could be a pretty unfortunate situation for him. But nonetheless, I'm going to be trying to hide the Beam Tank on top of Spears, keeping it near Volkmar, trying to give it some sustainability. In the back, the Greatsword's bringing up the rear as well, going after Savage Orc Biggins, and they are winning that fight. Their armor very, very helpful against those type of troops, and against the Black Orcs as well. I should be able to win this engagement because I just have superior numbers, and my Greatswords are in relatively good shape. So realizing there's a lot of Greenskin Daka here, I'm going to be falling back and trying to pick off the stuff in my back line, or at least in kind of the back center of this engagement. So the archers, of course, doing some pretty good work, but falling back, cleaning up here, going to be going after these pigs here, going to be going after the Savage Orcs and Black Orcs, trying to free up the Greatswords, and also forming a bit of a defensive pocket on top of the Steam Tank, because I know he has this annoying flying unit that I can't really deal with, right? I have some Pistoliers who might be able to poke, but the Knights of the Blazing Sun with a huge charge into the pigs who are not ready for this. So Sigmar be praised here, Memridia, or whoever the hell they worship, but man, these guys are so freaking cool looking. But they're going to get a big charge on the Pork Bikes here, and they'll probably honestly be going down with the Terror nearby from the Steam Tank, Steam Cannon coming in, Volkmar the Grim coming in as well with his Spearmen. I should be able to break off those pigs and free up the situation and win this big melee fight, which is going to be quite substantial. So Volkmar with the buffs here, Grand Shield of Faith going down, so all my guys get a 22% ward save right now, which is very substantial for Flagellants. I mean, they have pretty much no defensive prowess, so giving them a 22% flat, it's not bad, right? So in the back, the Steam Tank gets a little bit separated from my main army, which is a bit of a mistake here. So Azag could potentially come in and goon me out now. So I believe I do see this here. I get the Steam Tank into cannon mode, and now I'm going to be taking shots at Azag, trying to do what damage I can to his Air Force here. In the meantime, some Knights of the Blazing Sun fighting with some Pistolier support. But man, my opponent's been doing a really good job with his mobile missile play here, using the Rusty Arrows and his Wolf Riders to just kind of pressure my Pistoliers and kind of keep them at bay. But I still have the Meme Tank. Spirit Leech is going to be going down as well, 799 HP, but just going to be sitting and shooting at Azag, trying to get whatever damage I can so that Volkmar in the late game can potentially win. And realizing here that I do have the Grand Soulfire. So here was my plan. Send out Volkmar. He's going to look like fresh fish. My opponent is probably going to be swarming him with a ton of stuff. And at that point, we use a Soulfire Bombardment to just nuke his stuff. So right here it comes, and oh, the damage is so good. Just annihilating those Wolf Rider Archers and those Spider Riders. Volkmar the Grim, just an absolute beast in this matchup. Just going forward and doing his thing. So the Rusty Arrows do overextend a little bit. I think they were actually accidentally chasing against my Cav or some of my Pistoliers, or maybe they're trying to get range of the Steam Tank perhaps. So at this point, my Greatswords, my Infantry are going to be surging forward. Volkmar smells blood in the water, so he's going to be going after these Gobos here, making sure that I have a pretty good situation in this engagement with his localized buff. The Beam Tank in the back still shooting, and it's relatively good here. It's got 535, I guess. It's unbreakable. And how much damage has it done to Azag? It looks like it's done a little bit. Not much. Maybe just 1 or 2 shots. Banishment coming in from Volkmar is able to hit those Orc Airboys. Probably won't break them, unfortunately. It didn't really get the center mass and rotate the right way, but, you know, that's the nature of the beast here. So it looks like Azag's going to be coming in. He wants that Steam Tank, which is a good choice, because basically it's the one thing that can threaten him up in the sky. But Volkmar's hot in pursuit here, and he's coming in, but oh man, it looks like Azag is going to get away there, so very, very good maneuvering for my opponent. He is able to escape. But nonetheless, we pull in some Pork Bikes, we pull in some Forest Goblin Spider Riders. Pistoliers have returned, unleashing a last salvo against Azag here. And now Volkmar's like in a position that, even though Azag is a better duelist than Volkmar on his chariot, Volkmar could probably win that duel. Bounce Pyre is pulling into my favor here for the first time of the game pretty substantially. You can see Greatswords and Spearmen are going to be pushing forward for Sigmar. Some more coming in here. We have 1 Flagellant here, 3 here, 109 kills, 34 on this bad boy. Man, those guys just true heroes. And we also have some Pistoliers who could engage as well, but they're going to be getting chased down by the Mangy Marauders and some of these other troops. But at this point, it's basically Volkmar versus the world here. Nasty Skulker is going to be engaging on Greatswords, which is good for him. Skulkers are very efficient against Greatswords with their AP values and, of course, their numbers. But Volkmar probably going to be able to get a terror out. You can see his mere presence is going to be shattering these goblins who had broken multiple times over the course of this battle. And now, just like the Empire, going to be pulling together against the foes of the old world and making a last stand here against the Greenskins, even though we are ahead in Bounce Pyre, so it's not really a last stand, but it's mainly because of Volkmar. So the Spearmen holding firm, but we do have another Soulfire Bombardment in the back pocket, so we could potentially drop that if we need to. And it looks like Azag's going to be coming in, and Volkmar will be turning his attention to Azag, getting some decent attacks. And yeah, a couple attacks there is going to shatter him, and that's going to be all she wrote for the Greenskin Hordes. So well played to Chosen One. So that is going to conclude our best of 3 from the Salad Cup Aerocrossings tournament. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And again, for anyone who wants to see about that tournament, there will be a link to it in the comment section below where you guys can see all the games and everything. And yeah, if you guys want to get involved in tournaments, I'll have a link as well. Hopefully, if my old decrepit brain can remember this, I'll have a link to my tournament Discord where I'll be hosting tournaments, and it's a good resource for finding other tournaments as well. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. I really like the Sigmar Bum Rush using Volkmar and Unbreakable Frontline, because oftentimes Greenskins, like if you go for a State Troop or Greatsword Frontline, you will get crumped pretty good. But I think the more standard style of play from the Empire against the Greenskins is probably more cav heavy play, like running a bunch of cav units with like a steam tank and things like that. But I actually like kind of fighting the front line a little bit with unbreakable troops and Volkmar and a tank supporting. It's very heavy metal, and I feel like it can catch people off guard for sure. Like the Empire pushing back in the front line is not something a lot of people expect. But the steam tank, I think, is like really, really good in the Greenskin matchup. It's a pain in the ass to deal with. And Volkmar the Grim, of course, is just a powerhouse. 120 kills. He was able to just ramrod all those frontline engagements. And at the end, he raised his mighty Hammer of Sigmar and smited Azag's ruins upon it, or smote him upon the mountain. Or I'm trying to remember that quote from Lord of the Rings. Remember when Gandalf's like talking about how he fought the Balrog? We fell to the highest, what was it, the highest peak of the lowest dungeon, where I fought to the Balrog and smote his ruin upon the mountain. I can't quite remember it. It's been a while since I've seen it, well, like a year or so, but nonetheless. If you guys know the quote, let me know in the comment section. I'd be quite interested. So very well played to Chosen One. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this best of 3. And yeah, a lot of games from that tournament are going to be coming, so you guys will get to see a lot of competitive builds that I think have some pretty strong applications. So guys, thanks again for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Take care.